Well, since the pandemic started, we've spent more time at home and in the areas where we live. And that has meant that many of us taking time to check on neighbours and think more about our local neighbourhoods. Lindsay Smith reports now on the rise of community spirit over lockdown and why some people hope that things don't go back to normal.
You must stay at home.
1 year ago today, residents on Grimsby's Nunsthorpe estate locked down like everyone else.
They were frightened. They didn't know where to turn to, who to ask for help.
Volunteers quickly gathered at this community centre. Their aim was to make sure no one suffered in silence. Volunteer Adam was out of work at the time.
I just felt I needed to give a little bit more back to the community, and we did anywhere from shopping for elderly people, fitting safety stair gates for young families who were struggling with maintenance of the house.
Between them, the volunteers have helped almost 400 families. This may be a community that's been in the headlines for its deprivation, but there's a wealth of spirit here.
We chalked on the pavement hopscotch for the children. We also helped people who were unable to work their television entertainment, so they were no longer bored.
This outpouring of support is not unique. There were 3,500 mutual aid groups listed online. 750,000 people volunteered to work with the health service, and 2 million people joined local support networks on Facebook. The value of community was recognised in the recent budget, with £150 million being pledged by the government.
Which is money to enable communities to take over spaces, buildings, old public buildings, community centres, sports facilities, and run those for the local community. And we think that's really fantastic, and we're working with government to make sure that that money is allocated in a way that will benefit the places that need it most.
Christian family packs.
Villagers in Aldborough were also quick to organise help. It's still needed here as the effect of job losses and prolonged furlough bites.
People have got to know a lot more people. Friends, even people that lived on the same street who you didn't necessarily know, now you're like, oh yeah, that's so-and-so.
There's some people who like isolation, but say just knowing help from neighbours was available brought them comfort.
I think what's come out of this lockdown is how much how important home and family are. And my husband, of course, has been great.
Hated to say that.
Back on the Nunsthorpe, Adam's experience as a volunteer has paid off.
I was offered 2 or 3 jobs, and I've actually took a full-time job with a local supermarket.
Soon the beer will flow in the Nunsthorpe Tavern and residents can be back together socially. But they hope the community spirit will remain.
I think it's given people a purpose. I don't think people want it to go back to what it used to be like.
One positive of pulling together whilst staying apart. Lindsay Smith, BBC Look North, Grimsby.
Yeah, great neighbourhood spirit. And Grimsby